Do you have any suggestions on how EU and China can ensure good cooperation in the future and benefit the world?
Well, I think if I could dream, so to say, because reality is most of the times different to what we dream as politicians, but my vision would be that we could step by step try to put aside as much as possible this kind of balance of powers approach, where you have a rising antagonism of US and some countries that follow the US, and then a new two-form bloc with China in the lead, where you have raising antagonism artificially fueled by, for instance, putting into the one against the other of the so-called ideal governance of democracies versus autocracies, or free market versus state-run economies. Actually, the reality today is much more complex, needs much more pragmatic rather than ideologically driven solutions. And to come to your question, I would really plead for a more pluralistic approach. I'm sure that there are lots of countries that are preferring to have a non-aligned position than just to join one of the two sides. And I think that Chinese leadership, and also sometimes in wording at least, the American leadership, have phrased positions that are open to share power and to have a kind of multilateral, pluralistic approach to world governance, to global governance. I think this is the right way to have a pluralistic and less balance of powers approach, less two sides antagonism approach. I hope that the narrative that was put forward by the European Union through the voice of Mrs. van der Leyen and Borrell could also tend at this, to say we will just not be a junior partner of the US, to which we are very loyal in terms of our security needs, of course, and we share lots of things with the US in terms of values and views on society, but let's be open to other systems of governance, other approaches. And so when it comes to positioning of the EU, let's develop our own position and be part of that pluralistic, for instance, G20-based global governance, where also upcoming powers like Brazil, like India, like South Africa, like Indonesia, India, could play a very important role in sharing governance, in sharing power, and in sharing solutions. We will have one of the next years, I think it's 2024, we will have the Brazilian leadership chairmanship of the G20. I think that's an important, potentially an important moment. Last element, I see it also as important in order to install a more pluralistic governance. I see it as a good sign that you have now this new development bank, that you have other currencies trying to play, to offer an alternative to world trade and markets to the dollar. So I think sharing governance, shared power is better than this kind of antagonism between two blocs.